Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here today. Very happy to be here. And I do want to talk about not just how we're thinking about the network transformation journey, but what we're doing to align with ecosystem partners and what we're looking to do more of with our partners like QCT. When you think about network transformation, and there's been a lot of good discussion about what that journey means from a technology standpoint, from an operator standpoint, we think about it in three ways. We think about the openness that's required to drive network transformation, and Mike talked about this a little bit in his comments. But openness really has multiple components, and the key one that we often focus on is the side. Red Hat delivers open platforms. We work with our ecosystem partners to ensure that those get bundled into an entire solution that leverages the power of open source. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. But equally important is the cultural transformation. And as we're working with operators and thinking about what actually delivers this change that they're working on, it's not just making the right technology choices, but it's also implementing the processes and the internal change and kind of bringing in the open collaboration model into the organization. And then that leads to going forward. How do you continue to evolve this? How do you leverage the power of communities to continue to drive the right kind of innovation? So, this is how we think about the network transformation journey that's going on. And when you think about what Red Hat does and what we contribute to that, Red Hat's model is one many people know and understand. All of our development activity happens in upstream communities. So all of our engineering work is in the communities themselves. We then take those communities, in the OpenStack example, multiple innovations then get integrated into RDO, and then we stabilize that and provide the version that we can support to our customers. Again, delivered in multiple contexts, as Joe was just describing. But that model of the innovation happening in the upstream communities also influences the way we think about partnering. And the ecosystem work that everybody's been talking about, the importance of ecosystem in driving this transformation, similar to the technology transformation that's happening, there's more than just getting together, having alignment, having joint integration, joint development activities. It really is a cultural approach. And as we've been working in the telco industry for the last several years around helping to drive this transformation, particularly around NAV and now increasingly around the edge cloud transformations that are happening, we're really working to adapt our partnering models to reflect these upstream centric principles. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about what we're doing on that front. But at a high level, at a conceptual level, it really means thinking about the ecosystem in lots of different combinations. We're very proud of the work that we've been doing with QCT at a number of accounts, in a number of domains, not just in NFV, but in other domains around hardware transformations. But we also think about the service providers themselves as part of our ecosystem. And a lot of our innovation activity is happening in tandem with hardware providers, ISVs, system integrators, and customers themselves. And it's really more of a constellation set of activities. And it really does focus on the upstream communities themselves. Everything that we're doing goes back to where the innovation is happening. And what I think is really exciting right now is the degree to which the upstream communities are delivering on the requirements of telcos and increasingly focusing on these operator requirements. And there's a number of communities that we contribute to. The list is kind of continually changing. There's some interesting activities that part of the NGCO initiative, and Mike referenced around Keynote. There's also some interesting stuff happening on the radio access network side with ORAN. But there's a number of upstream communities that we're aligning with to drive the next generation technology requirements that we want to have our partners, both the service providers themselves, but their other ecosystem partners, working with us to make sure that evolution kind of continues as these new technologies roll out. And ultimately, Red Hat's vision of what the network providers, what the telcos require as they go on their transformation, is a different kind of partnering model, partnering to deliver a true end-to-end solution where they can get the traditional SLAs that they've been able to get from the hardware-centric solutions into this new virtualized world. And that's really what our vision is about in terms of trying to derive solutions to customers. In terms of how other partners, the people in this room, can work with us, there's three main components that we focus on. There's a whole set of activities that we drive, and you can learn more about this at our booth out in the lobby, around certification and driving alignment around our solutions. And this is a lot of the work we've done with QCT and Intel and others, and are continuing to drive, which is making sure that the components can work together in a way that actually delivers a true integrated experience. But then there's a richer set of alignment, which not just around the technology components, but around the full support experience and also the engineering product development, innovation experience that ultimately delivers that kind of integrated solution experience. And that's where we see the industry really evolving to, and that's where we see, I think, really exciting opportunities. Excuse me, creating some feedback. And that then leads to the bottom point, which is, a big part of collaborating with is collaborating with us in the upstream community. We've invested in a lot of engineering resources specifically focused on telco, focused on the network transformation journey, that are working to drive the agenda for the appropriate upstream communities. And we're really investing in that. We want to have our partners working with us to make sure that we're driving the right kind of innovation in those upstream communities so we can all benefit from the downstream innovation. And this leads to what we're doing in NFV specifically. And I think this is a helpful way to think about what Red Hat's vision is for NFV and how we're engaging with customers. So Red Hat has its product portfolio that's driven from the innovation in the upstream communities. And we deliver that to customers in a couple of different ways. There are some customers who want to do a bit of more of a mix and match and integrate, and we'll bring in a system integrator to help pull together a solution using Red Hat's components. And there's others that want to have more of an integrated experience from the application down to the hardware infrastructure, but want to make sure that they're getting that in a way that would allow that, the value proposition of a true horizontal platform, a true open platform. And so we work to deliver those, kind of upstream first value proposition that Red Hat has in either more of a mix and match scenario or in an integrated solution scenario. And what's fundamentally different about that is it is based on the upstream first products without having downstream modifications. And I think that's the trap that a lot of telcos went through in their early investments in open source and OpenStack, of building something on open source components but then modifying it. And what you find is that really is a trap, because as the innovation continues to come from the upstream communities, it becomes harder and harder to continue to deliver that innovation as you're rolling out new services. We did some analysis last year where the kilo was the release of OpenStack that many of the operators started to use, where they started to put that into some production environments. Queens was the version that it came out when we did this analysis. Between those two releases, between the kilo version of OpenStack and the Queens version of OpenStack last year, 97% of the code changed. So when you think of the pace of innovation, and in the containers world, it's even faster than that in terms of the degree of which change is happening. When you think of that pace of innovation, if you're branching off of the the upstream communities, it's really hard to kind of continue to bring back the new innovations as they come in. So we really work with our partners to deliver the kind of solution that takes advantage of that true upstream first based model that Red Hat has always delivered. And this also, from a customer experience standpoint, gives them control of their architectural vision, gives them the ability to drive that cultural change that I was talking about, that allows them to kind of to take the benefits of open platforms, truly open platforms. We talked about the NGCO initiative. That's what we're here for today. Red Hat's been also investing in this concept of a virtual central office and really focusing at the software layer, at the application layer, and driving innovation across all of the different use cases, the business services, residential services, and now mobile services use cases as we roll out this edge architecture. And we'd like to invite the ecosystem partners that are here today to join us on that journey. This is a little bit of the path that we've been on. QCT was with us at the very beginning with VCO 1.0 that we launched in 2017. At the OpenStack Summit in Berlin, we talked about where we're moving going forward, and this is leveraging a whole set of Red Hat-based solutions, but also application layer solutions to deliver that edge experience. In Berlin, we announced VCO 2.0, which is focused on the mobile services domain, and we're going to be doing more of that, particularly, you'll see some of it at Mobile World Congress, but then at Red Hat Summit in Boston in May, we'll be doing a lot more around this, and we'd love to expand the partners that are working with us on that, and really rolling out a set of technology centers around the world that can allow customers to leverage these solutions. So in summary, I just want to highlight the approach that Red Hat takes to technology, we believe is differentiating and is critical to the network transformation journey that the telcos are on. And similarly, we've taken a different approach to the way that we partner, and we've been changing the way that we've historically partnered in the enterprise realm to bring those same principles of open source innovation to the way that we deliver solutions to customers. So look forward to partnering with you and continuing the partnership with QCT. Thank you.